From downloading $1,000 apps for free to turning your iPhone into a gaming console, jailbreaking on iOS was a digital revolution that changed the balance of power between tech giants and users forever. But behind this underground movement were legendary hackers like GeoHot and the creator of Cydia, the jailbreak guy, whose skills were so extraordinary that even the FBI recruited him to crack a terrorist's iPhone. The story of jailbreaking is more than just a history of hacks and exploits. It's a story of creativity, innovation, and one of the strongest online communities that cost Apple millions. Sit back and relax, click the subscribe button, and let's get started.
The big thing is about just having the freedom to do things that are outside of the scope of an application. I could, for instance, bring up a panel where I can turn off 3G quickly, or if I would like to, put on airplane mode so I don't get any more phone calls during the course of this little demonstration.
Yep.
I can bring up a Twitter client just out of the status bar. So there's a lot of little things like this that I think people find very valuable.
Most people know the iPhone to be the most revolutionary phone of all time, but it was heavily restricted in terms of software. In the early age of iOS, Apple restricted users to apps from the pre-installed App Store and tightly controlled the system. This limitation, combined with the iPhone's insane popularity, sparked a movement for more control and customization in the developer scene. Jailbreaking is the process of removing Apple's software restrictions on an iPhone, giving users full access to the device's file system, and the ability to install any apps, game emulators, ad blocking, increased storage. It essentially gives you complete control over your device. The jailbreaking scene exploded with two early pioneers. It was October 2007 when the first true jailbreak was released by a hacker group called the iPhone Dev Team. They used an exploit in the iPhone's firmware to get root access, thus bypassing Apple's restrictions and allowing for the installation of any third-party software. GeoHot was also a key figure in the early jailbreaking scene. At just 17 years old, he released one of the first methods to unlock the original iPhone for use on carriers other than AT&T. On the tech side, before Cydia became the go-to platform, an app store called Installer.app emerged as the first alternative marketplace for iPhone apps, marking the beginning of a new era in iOS customization. These early jailbreaks were complex and risky, involving command line tools and potentially bricking your iPhone. Despite these risks, a dedicated community formed around the newfound freedom, sharing exploits and tools on forums and blogs. The early jailbreaking community was fueled by a mix of technical curiosity and a desire to enhance the iPhone's functionality beyond what Apple allowed. Endless forums and IRC channels became hotspots for users to exchange information, get help, and share their latest discoveries. This community spirit was key to the rapid evolution of jailbreaking techniques and tools. So why don't we revisit someone we mentioned earlier, arguably the most influential man in the jailbreaking scene.
I am Jay Freeman, although many people online, including possibly you originally, knew me as only Sork. I run Cydia, which is the alternative to the App Store on jailbroken phones.
One of the key figures in the jailbreaking community was Jay Freeman, better known as Sarek, or the jailbreak guy. In 2008, Sark introduced Cydia, which would become the defining platform of the jailbreak era. The jailbreak exclusive marketplace grew to process millions in transactions at its peak, with some successful developers earning over $10,000 per month. Cydia became more than just an app store. It represented a thriving economy and a platform where innovative developers could monetize their creations, often catching Apple's attention. In fact, several jailbreak tweak developers were later hired by Apple, recognizing the innovation happening outside their walled garden. A notable example was Nicholas Allegra, known as Comex, who created the groundbreaking Jailbreak Me tool. His innovative work impressed Apple so much that they hired him as an intern. This pattern of Apple recruiting talented developers from the jailbreak community would continue throughout the years. The technical sophistication of jailbreaks evolved at an exponential rate. GeoHot's LimeRain boot ROM exploit was so powerful it affected all A4 devices permanently and couldn't be patched by software updates. Years later, the Checkmate exploit would have a similar impact, affecting all Apple devices with A5 through A11 chips, spanning nearly 7 years of iOS devices. From 2008 to 2012, Jailbreak saw its golden age. The community flourished, with developers creating innovative tweaks and features that Apple hadn't yet implemented. Winterboard, developed by Sark himself, allowed a complete customization of the iOS interface. But perhaps more importantly, Sark created a mobile substrate, later known as Substitute, which became the foundation for most tweaks and demonstrated the true technical depth of the jailbreak community. The impact of jailbreaking was massive. The Invasion jailbreak for iOS 6 was downloaded over 7 million times in its first 4 days. Jailbreaking introduced many firsts: the first game emulators on iOS, the first mobile Bitcoin wallet, and countless interface innovations that Apple would later adopt. Don't get me wrong, Apple hated this. As the jailbreaking community grew, so did the sophistication of iOS security. The technical landscape shifted from simple userland exploits to complex kernel exploits. Apple introduced Address Space Layout Randomization, ASLR, in iOS 4.3, making exploitation significantly more difficult. Users had to choose between tethered jailbreaks that required a computer connection on every reboot or wait longer for the coveted untethered jailbreaks that worked independently. During this time, new players emerged. The Chronic dev team, including notable hackers like Pod2G and P06 Ninja, created the influential Green Poison jailbreak. Chinese teams like Pangu and Taiji dominated the scene from around iOS 7 through iOS 9, bringing fresh approaches to exploitation. But the stakes were high. In 2015, security firm Zerodium offered a $1 million bounty for an iOS 9 jailbreak, highlighting the increasing value of these exploits. But by the mid-2010s, jailbreaking began to decline. Apple had not only strengthened its security, but also incorporated many features that were once exclusive to jailbreaking. The introduction of iOS 9 and later versions brought unprecedented security measures, including kernel patch protection, making kernel exploits significantly more challenging. The cat and mouse game between Apple and the jailbreak community had reached new levels of complexity. Each iOS update brought new security features that needed to be bypassed. The Electronic Frontier Foundation's successful campaign to get jailbreaking DMCA exemption was a victory. But Apple's technical barriers proved to be more formidable than the legal ones. In August of 2016, Apple launched its security bounty program, offering substantial rewards for reporting vulnerabilities. With potential payouts reaching up to $1 million for critical exploits, many skilled researchers who once worked on jailbreaks now chose to collaborate with Apple instead. The economic incentives have shifted dramatically from the early days of jailbreaking for freedom and innovation. Despite these challenges, some bright spots emerged from the jailbreaking community. The Fugu jailbreak became the first open-sourced, untethered jailbreak for iOS 14, showing that the community's spirit of innovation and sharing was still alive. However, such achievements became increasingly rare. So, what actually happened to the legend that is Soric? While he continued to maintain Cydia for several years, the shrinking community and increasing challenges made it an uphill battle. But maybe the craziest part of his story is that in 2016, the FBI hired Saric during their attempts to unlock the iPhone used in the San Bernardino case. This was a terrorist attack that was fatal for 14 people. The FBI found one of the attacker's iPhones, but was unable to access the phone's data because it was locked with a passcode and encrypted under Apple's security protocol. This led to a high-profile legal battle, as the FBI asked Apple to create a backdoor to unlock the phone, but Apple refused. So, the FBI turned to the jailbreaking community, where Saric was hired to hack into the phone. Although not directly responsible, his consulting work helped them unlock it. Nowadays, Saric occasionally participates in conferences and workshops, sharing his knowledge with the next generation of developers and technologists. Despite his reduced public presence, he remains a respected figure in the tech community, occasionally offering insights via social media and forums. Despite its decline, jailbreaking has left an indelible mark on iOS development. Many features we take for granted today, like Control Center, custom widgets, and enhanced multitasking, were inspired by the jailbreak community's innovations. Just as games like Minecraft have taken many ideas from modded versions of the game, Apple has taken countless ideas from the jailbreaking community. More importantly, jailbreaking significantly contributed to mobile security research and bug bounty programs. The techniques developed by the jailbreak community helped identify and fix countless security vulnerabilities, ultimately making iOS more secure for everyone. In the end, the story of jailbreaking is more than just a history of hacks and exploits. It's a testament to human creativity and the desire for technological freedom. While the golden age of jailbreaking may be behind us, its impact on mobile computing and digital rights continues to resonate. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more tech stories and insights. Let me know in the comment section what your experience with jailbreaking were. Have you ever tried it? What was your favorite tweak? I want to bring back this channel, bring you guys the best quality tech stories on YouTube. If there's anything you want me to make a video on, let me know in the comments down below. We appreciate your guys' support. See you next time.